Hello guys, this is your teacher Nicholas and today we are going to study present perfect, okay? I am going to explain to you the very basics for present perfect. To start with, I want you to pay attention that we have two auxiliaries, okay? Auxiliary has and auxiliary have. Now, in what situations do we use have and in what situations do we use have? Well, pay attention to this chart. We use have with the pronoun I, and we use have with you, we, and they. Okay? And has we use with third person, he, she, it. Okay? Remember that information because from now on I am going to explain to you the grammatical structures for you to communicate negative, affirmative, and interrogative sentences. Okay? But before that, in what and why do we use present perfect? So we use present perfect to talk about something that happened in the past, but it still has relevance in the present. For example, we use present perfect for things that recently happened or for situations and actions that hasn't finished yet. Okay? Remember, utilizamos presente perfecto para hablar de actividades que recientemente pasaron o para hablar de actividades que aún no han terminado. Okay? So these are the structure for you to communicate in questions, affirmative, and negative sentences. Now, for interrogative sentences or question sentences, you have the auxiliary. We have the auxiliary first. Remember what is the auxiliary? Have and has. But also we can have optional. This is not always like first WH question, only if necessary. So we have WH question. Then we have the auxiliary has or have. Then we have the subject. Then we have the verb in past participle. This is a totally different verb from simple past. Okay, so you need to study and remember the verbs in past participle. Then we have the complement and always remember the question mark. Okay, very good. One example for this interrogative sentence is what have you done in the quarantine? ¿Qué has hecho en la cuarentena? So if you pay attention, the auxiliary have and the auxiliary has is like if you're speaking in Spanish, like in Spanish castellano. Okay, for example, yo he, tú has, ella ha. Okay, now the second example is what have you studied in the school? Okay, ¿qué has estudiado en el colegio? Or have you gone to Mexico? ¿Has ido a México? Very good. Let's continue with the negative sentences. We have the subject or the person. We have, remember the auxiliary, have or haven't, hasn't, I'm sorry. So remember that the negative form for has is hasn't, and the negative form for have is haven't. And this is the contraction for have not or has not. Okay? Now we continue with the verb in past participle and the complement. Okay? For example, I haven't traveled in the quarantine. Yo no he viajado en la cuarentena. Or she hasn't spoken with her boyfriend. Ella no ha hablado con su novio. Or we haven't done the homework. We haven't done the homework. Nosotros no hemos hecho la tarea. Okay? You need to practice the verbs in past participle for you to remember that uh, I pointed out this chart for you to have only the verbs in past participle but irregular. Okay, remember that the irregular verbs are the ones who change. For example, be is in present and they change in been with past participle. Okay, now we have the affirmative sentence here. And how do you create this? Well, you have the subject first, or the person. Then you have the auxiliary. What is the auxiliary, guys? Yes, have or has. And then we have the verb in past participle and the complement. For example, I have eaten pizza with Mary. I have eaten pizza with Mary. Yo he comido pizza con Mary. Or she has given food to poor people. Ella ha entregado comida a la gente pobre. Okay? Now, remember that we have two types of verbs. The irregular verbs, the ones who change, as an example you have here, and the irregular verbs are the ones that we always use from simple past. Okay? What examples do we have for regular verbs in here? We have studied, we have traveled, are examples for irregular verbs, for regular verbs. Why? Because they add ed. These are regular verbs. Studied, traveled. Okay? Very good. Don't use stressed out. You just need some practice. Okay? And remember to find out a chart like this for you to follow and study the verbs in past participle. Okay? All right. I hope you learned a lot today. Keep practicing and see you soon.